All right, folks, good evening. Welcome. It's another Friday. I'm Citizen Jones. Let's do it again. Today on the program, Governor El-Rufai cries out that Boko Haram and Saru terrorists are taking over 2 local government areas in his Kaduna state. But let me report, I'm hanging out with Gani Kayode Balogun, the one they know as GKB. I greet you, GKB.
I greet you, Citizen.
And we also do have Emeka Madunagu. Emeka, I greet you.
The one known as Barnabas.
You are also known as EM. All right, just to report that Jide is unavoidably absent. Of course, each time Jide leaves Lagos, I'm sure some money will come in. All right, so the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, then let's start from good old Lagos. You know, we have been there before now, and I mean the conflict between the Lagos State authorities and commercial motorcyclists. A timeline of the banning of these irritants would help somewhat at this point. 3 times before now, on the 27th of January 2020, May 10, 2021, and June 7 last year, selected prohibitions of the motorcyclists were ordered by the state government to arrest or stem the untold levels of suffering by victims of carnages and unruly cyclists. The implementation of the latest ban in 6 local government areas, of course we'll give you the list, has led to the seizure of about 200 motorcycles, which has provoked a rash of protests in the Alaba Rago axis of Badagry expressway. Obviously, GKB, you expect something like this.
Yeah, we've been here before, like you said. My prayer is that 3rd term or 4th term will be the charm. Because for 3 governments now, they've not been able to really solve this problem effectively.
Yeah.
During the Fashola administration, there was a semblance of the...
But I think he dealt somewhat with it.
Yeah, it was very decisive. The government of Fashola was very decisive when it comes to... Not only was he getting them off the roads, he was getting them out of the states. He was packaging some of who think that have criminal elements, put them inside buses, and taking them to the nearest border, wherever they feel comfortable. Which, of course, led to people going to court to ask whether it is constitutional.
Yeah. As
they have freedom to move anywhere they are. But you and I know majority of these people are not even Nigerians. So they enjoy
I've heard that.
They enjoy no such rights and no such privileges.
Yeah.
But it's just that I think Mr. Sanwo-Olu has been trying very hard to run a government with a human face, as the saying goes. And he's looking out for the little man. But this, of course, have been abused by these people over the last, like you said.
Yeah.
It started in 2020. Last year again, it was done. Now we are here. But it never really stopped, because if you have been following the news, you realize the fact that almost every week the task force will seize motorcycles and they will destroy them.
Yeah.
But as the Yorubas will say, if the water pass Gary, it becomes something else. And now the thing has become a monster.
Oh, yeah.
That requires basically more than just lip service.
Emeka, but we see this monster coming, you know, when the influx of the autocyclists from different parts of wherever, goodness knows wherever. We thought it was a ticking time bomb. So here we are.
Well, it's unfortunate that we allowed the breakdown of policy on public infrastructure, transportation, and all of that made a place like Lagos, the center of excellence, to now be swamped by motorcycles. These are things that have been banned in other places. El-Rufai banned it in Abuja. Oshomole banned it in Benin.
Cross River State, Akwa Ibom.
Yeah, even where this thing started, because I remember when I was in school, University of Uyo, when we had the Alalo.
It started in my area. And you people never give us kudos or credit.
Congratulations.
But you have banned it. So now, Lagos, the center of excellence, that has, you know, to be honest, that has led in different areas.
Yeah.
Now appears to be helpless concerning this simple matter. It's an interventionist measure.
Yeah.
Which was just to bridge a gap, transportation gap. Now you had those big bikes that were ferrying people, and you came up and said, no, these things are dangerous, and it is not befitting for an international city, a business destination like Lagos, an investment destination like Lagos. Now, why did you allow
Lagos at a point had this metropolitan dream, you know?
Yeah, Lagos has never been
mega city.
Lagos has never been in short supply of good policies. The only problem is that in between there appear to be gaps, and those gaps, you see, Lagos is a dream destination for so many people, just like a lot of cities around the world. New York, Johannesburg, name it, are dream cities. So if you allow any gap in the way you run the metropolitan side particularly, you will see people who will move in to take advantage of that lacuna.
Nature does not like evacuation.
That is it. So the point is this: Lagos State government should just implement its policy. The policies are there. Yeah. It's not as if Governor Sanwo-Olu needs to go and start thinking of what to do. The policies are there. Just be courageous and have the political will to implement it. Motorcycles should not be seen in a place like Lagos. Yes, you might say, okay, in China or in Japan, they use bicycles. Yeah, but we know provision is made for such. The lanes are wide. There are provisions for such. You see cities in Europe, in the United States, you see people.
Emeka, have you been to? I don't know how long ago you got to Benin Republic.
Yeah, just next door. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lane for motorbikes.
A lane for motorcycles.
Fine.
And you dare not move to.
If you are going to allow that, that's what I'm saying. Lagos is not in short supply, and Lagos is a fertile ground for investment. What you do, if you think you don't want to outrightly ban them because you have not put in place adequate infrastructure to move the over 22 million people in Lagos, fine, work out something. If it is the extra lane, after all, you have a lane for BRT. You can now work out a lane, and then the type of bikes you want on the road, and think, work out something. But the point is this: don't throw away the opportunity that any such challenge presents. If you are going to ban these people, make sure that before you ban them totally, you have something, you have a viable replacement. Otherwise, you will just go back to square one. You heard what the Hausa community said. Oh, unban them so that we'll give you massive votes. Yes, votes. People always pander to their own interests. But I wish the governor well. I hope he can take advantage.
So at that point, there's a choice, a critical choice to make here: the votes or no votes.
Because people are already saying that, don't worry, by election time now, all of them will come back to the streets.
Okay, Gani, I think I dare say Emeka seems to have forgotten that Lagos State has a law in place against riding or driving against traffic.
Yeah, but against traffic, on the express road,
on
bridges. The laws are very specific.
No arrest had been made. I haven't heard of any.
No arrests were made. Like he said, they are not really consistent. It's this lack of consistency that led to where we are today. Because when you introduced the topic, we knew this was coming. It's not rocket science. We knew that if these things are not checked. Like I said, 2-3 governors ago, they started what they call the Lagos State registration something.
Yes, LASTRA.
It requires that you have a LASTRA card to do certain things in Lagos.
Yeah.
And we thought this would be a good check to ensure that only those who fit into the
Do we keep data in this country?
Well, we have figures that we throw about whenever we require it. But you cannot stop people from coming to Lagos. I once told the former commissioner, and I've told the current commissioner this. If you cannot stop people coming to Lagos, then you must outthink them.
Yes.
That's why you are in government.
Must have a place for everybody.
For example, if you say, okay, we are on paper 22 million in Lagos, and then you project 30 million by 2034. So when Jakande was governor, I keep going back to that. People think Jakande realized that by starting LASU and LASPOTEC, he must find a way for them to work. Because he was looking beyond that. That, okay, I started the university, I started the polytechnic, or I inherited the polytechnic. What will happen to them in 5 years? What will happen to them in 10? So you have to make provisions for a Lagos of 30 million people. You have to make provision for a Lagos of 40 million people. That's the only way to keep ahead of the challenge that we face.
May I just tease you a little? If the last government in Lagos had did a little job on the monorail thing, the Fashola government started, we would have been somewhere. I may be wrong.
Again, when I say this, people think that you are comparing other countries to us. There is something called monocars, in San Francisco. And Sanwo-Olu is a very hilly city. Goes up and down. Yeah, they have these monocars where they put rail lines, the tiny ones, right inside the roads.
Yes.
And then it goes.
Yeah.
There are so many solutions. While we are waiting for that to come. Even that one I'm talking about can drag nothing less than 15, 16 cars or cargoes or whatever you call it, with just one engine. Because it's on a rail system. It was in Lagos when we were growing up, It's still in Apapa before it was overtaken. In Ikeja, I'm sure if you go through that, I don't know what they call that, near Guinness, you still meet it.
Yes.
Where the lines are there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what our ancestors left to us. It's our inability to maintain and grow on it. There's no using Okada is not really peculiar to Lagos. It happens in Jakarta.
Yes.
But they have laws to guide this. You are registered. You must have a number. Your name must be clear. So if the person is after you, they will know it's Mr. A.
But in addition to allowing you ride and make money in Lagos, the next thing it would be in addition to that would be the safety wahala. Safety, perhaps Emeka seems to have forgotten the deadline is June 1st for the bikes to...
For the 6 local governments.
See, it's funny.
Oh, what's funny? The date.
What is funny is you keep putting up dates, you will do this, you will bring bikes, and the people keep bringing in bikes. You seize bikes, you seize tricycles, and the people keep bringing more. So what do you do? What you have to do is this. I think the State House of Assembly should maybe call a public hearing. Invite experts from different areas to say, okay, let's even sit down and discuss, take one day to discuss Okada in Lagos. Do we want to outrightly ban Okada? Now, do we have the necessary infrastructure? I thought, for instance, we would have transitioned to this 7-seater, what they call a Korokwe. Not even the keke. I don't even like that keke. I felt, why don't we start assembling this Korokwe, which is 7-seater, it has a door, even though it's light.
It's compact.
It's compact, so it can go into the inner cities, the inner areas. You don't need to have Korokwe on the highway, on Lagos Ibadan expressway and all that. Let these things feed the inner city. So in such a way, you can have everybody in the mix. Then gradually you phase Okada out if you have to do so.
Because we must go to the next subject matter. Just before we go, quickly, mine is safety. I don't know the last time you went to the orthopedic hospital, you see victims of autobike accidents and all that. That's another critical angle.
Yeah, I agree with, don't get me wrong, I agree with the governor that...
I hear somebody is on the line. I'm not getting feedbacks and so on. But who's online? Good evening. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? My name is Tayo from Ilori.
Ayo Ilori, welcome. I'm sorry, there's no contact. So
all right.
Yeah.
I'm greeting you, intelligent gentlemen.
Go on.
My own contribution, if you don't mind, is every one of them should, my own opinion, should be banned. If you check on all of them, and the countries the other guy was mentioning, they're using the bike, they're using motorcycles. They use them to control the environment. The bikes in Nigeria is damaging the environment totally. Nigerians, we are not that educated about it more. Everybody just want to ride the bike.
Yeah.
And the bikes are not licensed, they're not insured.
Yeah, Tayo, essentially, you are talking about orderliness and nothing else. We share the sentiment. Yeah.
If they have an accident, there is no insurance. So who are you going to ask?
Well, you know, the more questions than answers. Yeah. Tayo, thank you. Thank you very kindly for your time.
Yeah.
But you see, have some countries like India that use these bikes, you know,
yeah.
in Jakarta. The point that I said, the Lagos House of Assembly should sit down, should hold a public hearing. So that if you are going to face, like you can't start kicking people out of Lagos, you can't pack them and throw them out. That would be unconstitutional. So find a way to get these things off the roads. And then...
Well, that's the law.
Is
that's
it an
the law that they
opportunity?
No, Rebecca, that's the law they refuse to implement. Okadas are not meant to be on the highways. They were told specifically where to the routes that they can take. Is this lack of enforcement? That's really the problem. The roads under scrutiny that we are talking now is less than 500, but they zigzag throughout the states.
Yeah.
Imagine Okada in Apapa. Imagine Okada in
Lagos mainland.
So once you do that on the major roads,
yeah.
you can now isolate them, keep them in the inner roads for a while, while you solve the problem of co-op, as you said. Yeah. I told somebody in the morning, I said, 1,000 co-ops will solve this problem, will reduce it by 50% in 2 months. Just bring enough co-ops and insist on the, when we were growing up in Lagos, you don't need what do they call them? The conductors to tell you. It's written on the vehicle, the route that they can take.
Yeah. All right, let's not keep Macaulay calling from London. Good evening, Macaulay. How do you do? Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, the issue of Okada have overstayed on Lagos roads. We bet the fact that there is no job, there is nothing. But all the Okadas in Lagos are constituting a heavy nuisance. I have a very practical experience. I was in Nigeria some time ago, and I had to stay in a hotel in Festac. All the Okada riders around Apapa and all the rest are interviewed personally, more than 30 of them. I lived in the north and I speak outside before coming over here.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them confess to me that they are from Niger. If they are from Niger, what is our education doing about them? Where is the control of these people? Look at the young man they kill with families and all the rest.
Yeah.
Why are all these happening? And most of them actually sleep on the Okada. In the night, when they pass the Okada, they sleep on the Okada. They're taking drugs to drive those Okada. That is why there are these problems around Lagos.
Okay.
I strongly believe that there should be total ban of all the Okadas in Lagos.
Thank you, Macaulay. Brother Macaulay, we thank you.
I agree.
GKB, my problem here is these knee-jerk approaches can be replaced by critical thinking. You get the impression people are not thinking.
No, again, the laws are very clear. It's one of the best laws that you can get within the circumstances. The one that I think is Fashola or the next man who did the law. The major roads in Lagos are limited, actually. You know them.
Yeah.
Ikorodu Road, Lagos, Abeokuta Express Road, all the roads to go. Third Mainland Bridge.
Yeah.
So, once you take them away from this, the sanity will return to a reasonable
I remember a law that said if your bike was below 200 cc, don't put them on the highway.
It is the will, political will, to get rid of this. That's the problem. It's the enforcement. It's not the law.
You know,
the law is fine.
Obama's wife, Michelle, said, if you don't take a decision for fear of what the reaction might be, then you won't go anywhere.
The meaning of government, the meaning of being a governor, It's intervention for the generality of the goodness of the people.
Yeah.
That's the only why the only why you are there is to intervene on the people's behalf so their lives could be better. You cannot be afraid of little things like Okada riders. Like I said, the law, there's nothing wrong with the law. Because I took my time to talk to lawyers. And they told me, and they showed me, that this is a good law. Remove them from the expressway, remove them from the highways, remove them from all the major roads, restrict them to a corner, and then get rid of Okada totally. But we must provide enough vehicles as substitutes over time. That is what is lacking.
All right, we are joined now by, I'm glad they're coming from around the world. Alhaji Salam is reaching us from Paris. Paris is in France. Good evening, Alhaji.
See Paris and leave.
Good evening, Citizen Jones.
I greet you, sir. GKB and Emeka.
And I just want to make a little contribution to the issue of Okada.
Go on.
This is the best opportunity for the Lagos State government to create more employment. I could remember in the 70s, 80s in Lagos State. I stayed in Lagos. The local government, each local government has numbers of little small buses, just like Orope. And if every local government can have at least 1 or 20 or 2,000 buses, it will create job for 4,000 workers. Because 2 drivers will be driving each bus every day, and they will employ other people. Then the local government will be forced to repair the roads. The people that are doing this Okada because they don't have to will go and do conductor or be a driver. That is how to keep Lagos clean. We have been in Lagos before. Whenever you come with Mr. Nicer, it's a problem, the Okada issue. But you can combat it. So learn from it. Create more jobs.
Yeah.
Each local government will have their buses 10 by their country. No any street you will see that
Alhaji, we couldn't agree with you more, Alhaji Salam. Thank you very kindly. Emeka, you know, GKB referred earlier on to Lagos of yore. In 1977, when Festac was built, you remember it was see Festac and die. That Lagos is gone.
It's unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I grew up with my parents in Lagos, and Lagos was such a lovely place to be then. There were so many places you could go to in Lagos. So many places. In fact,
sorry, let me ask you quickly so I don't forget. Is it too late to do something? Is it too late?
It's not too late, but there will be a lot of political considerations in doing something. Yes, in doing something, there will be political considerations. And then you may need to flow some of the population to Ogun State. Because really Lagos is congested.
It's a very tiny place.
Then you are now also building a new Lagos. Well, before people crucify me, it's okay. I mean, Lagos are accommodating as many people, 22 million, 30 million, 50 million. It's okay. No problem. As long as you provide a place for everybody. I mean, the number of flights, landing at Heathrow Airport minute by minute. And different busy airports, O'Hare and the rest of them, JF Kennedy, they are bringing in people into these cities. But Jackson, it's so big. In Atlanta, it's so, the airport is so big.
It's a city by itself.
Yes. So they are bringing in people, but there is provision for everybody. So Lagos, if Lagos wants to be like Atlanta, or like London, or like New York, fine. You've got to make provision for everybody. Unless the undesirable elements, you find a way to put them away.
Because as we speak, the police, the security folks really know the black spots. They know what to do.
They do.
They know what to do. So we don't belabor the matter, but Mr. Governor, I don't envy you at this time. Yes, elections are coming next year, but please, let's do some more of critical thinking than, what do you call it?
The knee-jerk
reactions to the Okada problem is surmountable. It is. All right, we'll take a commercial break. We'll be back, but please stay there. All right, folks, welcome back. Now, we take you to Kaduna. Perhaps one horrified state governor now is Kaduna State's Malam Nasir El-Rufai. The 62-year-old quantity surveyor cum politician has expressed concern over the presence of the dreaded Boko Haram and the Ansaru terrorists in two local government areas of Birningwari and Giwa in the state. According to the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arunwa, no less than 360 persons have been killed between the first 3 months of the year, between January and March, if you see what I mean. Now, the governor notes that with a curious development, the insecurity problem has moved from northwestern Nigeria to the north central. Danger is real, and fear of the unknown is a choice. But first, let's share this story with you.
Led by Governor Nasir El-Rufai, the Kaduna Security Council meets every quarter to review strategies to tackle all forms of security threats ravaging the state. Heads of security agencies and traditional leaders who make up the council gathered on Thursday to receive the security report for the first quarter.
In the first quarter, we had a lot of issues in Kateri, Bishini, Regional General area, and again around the Kachia district. We have a total of 1,389, 350 males. 420 females, then 79 minors.
Of great concern to the governor is the influx of Ansaru and Boko Haram terrorists into the state and their partnership with bandits.
The first great concern is the emergence of Boko Haram terrorist enclave, as well as the activities of Ansar, particularly in Birningwari and Chikun local governments. I think this is an area we should be very concerned about, and this is why we've been making the point that the problem of insecurity now has moved from the northeast to the northwest. The situation in the northwest is far more serious and could be potentially more dangerous than we've ever had in the northeast. And we would like the military and security agencies to take notice of this before it goes out of control. The terrorists were making comments like the forests in Kaduna are even better than Sambisa, so they should all relocate here.
The authorities are disturbed that terrorists are recruiting youths from vulnerable communities by luring them with gifts and cash. The governor now contemplates demolishing 3 communities along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, identified as a safe haven for terrorists and their informants.
Is the continuous mention of Regina, Katari, and Akilubu axis in all these crimes, particularly the safety or lack of it of the Kaduna-Abuja road. We have been exploring what to do about these 3 settlements, whether to relocate them to near Kagarko, whether to clear the entire settlement. And I would like the Security Council to deliberate on this, because it is very clear that there are higher level of informants and criminals in these locations. Because why is it that any time there is an attack or any form of kidnapping on the Kaduna-Abuja road, it happens around these 3 axes?
The success was also achieved in counter-terrorism operations, with the killing of at least 101 terrorists by ground and airstrikes within the period under review. The Kaduna State Security Council has promised to improve human intelligence gathering and interagency collaboration towards achieving successful counter-terrorism operations. Lupe Asom, TVC News.
All right, many thanks, Lupa. Emeka, these are crazy times. These are times that will continue to try men's souls. I do remember that Governor El-Rufai said they had a means of listening to these guys, eavesdropping on whatever they did or said.
Yeah, but that was not enough. Did he carry the locals along? He said now that they've identified an area sort of maybe a circle or an axis, if you will, where these
Most of the
activities, where most of them operate from. And he now also blamed the locals, so drawing it in. And he has said, okay, that he's going to demolish settlements in that place, which is a doctrine in counterinsurgency, which is called draining the sea, draining the water. That is, you just
swamp.
Empty it totally, whether of the insurgents or of the local people, and then relocate the local people elsewhere. But how effective will that be? Because this is a long stretch of road. These people will just simply move from there to another place. There should be an all-encompassing strategy to end this insurgency. And what am I talking about? The security forces should be more serious. The IG goes to visit the road and tells us that nothing will happen again. He goes away, and these people kidnap 22 people. What are we talking about? Why do you keep promising the people what you are not ready to do? And then the people rest on your assurances. They go out only to run into kidnappers. I think somewhere, somehow, some of these people are not really serious about what they tell us, what they try to convey to Nigeria. They are not serious about it. And I say with all sense of responsibility, they are not serious. Maybe even they don't even really care about what happens to the people. Okay, you have resumed operations by rail operations. How have you fortified the rail? All you just said is that there won't be early morning and night services. So, is it that the insurgents, they disappear in the daytime and come back at night or in the early morning? These people have got to be more intelligent than all of this.
Yeah, GKB, in security matters are not discussed in the open place.
Yeah.
So results are better than
Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah.
I think, of course, we know Mr. Rufai a long time. And I'm sure that he is of the opinion that his candor and openness is a virtue. That when he's of clear mind and he tells you what is happening, maybe that will make the thing go away. It doesn't work like that, like you said. There are things that are discussed, strategic security meetings are not for the media. And it's not for us to know. All over the world, you only know after the facts. It's not for, Americans will not tell you they are going after Osama. We only knew it happened after the facts. And we thought that this is what would be happening. Don't tell me what I'm going to do to that axis. We know the axis. It's about 20, 30 kilometers. It's not really that big. Yeah. But it's part of the isolated places that even the military had identified. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Do it. All we want is results. The reason why you have a job is to protect people, their lives and their property.
That's what the Constitution says.
Yeah. That's the only job. Yeah. Don't grandstand. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Do it. It's only in Nigeria you see people who are given responsibility pass the buck to somebody else. In this case, you and I know that the most strategic place right now, based on the configuration of the Nigeria power game, is Abuja, Kaduna. And if those people are not safe, you know what is next. That they will not come in and go out from Kaduna will be a fallacy. 2 years ago they came, he shouted, then they move back. Because once you clear them in Zamfara, they will go to the next states. If you clear them in the next state, now they are nested primarily in Niger. So and you know that from Niger, you can strike anywhere within the 500 kilometer radius. Niger
is the largest state.
Niger is equivalent of the southwest minus Lagos.
That's it.
It's that big. The entire southwest will fit into Niger.
Emeka begs the question of, do we really want to defeat terrorism, or do we think we can defeat it?
No, I think I must give it to the military. They are really, they've made a lot of successes in the northeast against terrorists, against Boko Haram, ISWAP.
But sorry, why I asked you that is simply because of what happened 2 weeks back. Some 3 soldiers in Zamfara are known to have been caught conniving with the Boko Haram and so on. So we are talking about fifth columnists here.
These things, sometimes you shouldn't be surprised to talk about fifth columnists, because there are people who just don't care what becomes of it. If the entire system collapses, they just move away elsewhere. They don't care. So those people, you should, as much as possible, isolate such people. Let them be.
Sorry, who are these people who don't care? The terrorists?
No. They are the collaborators within the security services and the civilian population. You hear that these terrorists are kidnapping people in other places. They are killing people. They are ravaging communities, killing women, children, and all of that. And you still have
unchallenged.
You still feel comfortable. You heard the story of the woman who was taking food and bullets to the insurgents. Now, this is a woman who is a mother, not even caring that the children of other people are still in the captivity of these terrorists.
And yet still another was taking fuel.
Yeah, it was even one was even negotiating intimate relations between her daughters and these insurgents. So you see, the sociological aspects of this problem need to be looked into. There's widespread poverty in the land. So people generally will now use it as an excuse to aid and abet terrorism, criminality. But government should move ahead of all these things. If Boko Haram and ISWAP have moved, this is not the first time that it has been said.
Yeah.
A former Inspector General of Police said it a long time ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 years, said it that Ansaru, an offshoot of Boko Haram, had moved down to the North Central. Then it was in Kogi State when there was an attack on an Air Force, Nigerian Air Force column of, a Nigerian Air Force column. Now, what has been done between then and now? Okay, the Tucano jets that have been brought in have been, by diplomatic agreement, restricted to the northeast. So what it means is that you cannot use those same Tucanos to deal with insurgents in these other places, in the North Central. So
the talk was about collateral damage.
Well, you see, the damage that these criminals, these terrorists, are doing to communities in the North Central is really heartrending. So Nigeria should find a way, the Buhari administration should find a way to negotiate out of this enclosure, this boxing into the northeast, so that the Tucanos can be deployed in the North Central. And then you clear these people out of Niger. Yes, the armed forces have been doing a lot. I mean, some days ago, they recorded huge successes against these people. But you see, the point is that some countries around Nigeria are failed states. For instance, look at Niger. Yeah. So a lot of their people, because of conflict, hunger, poverty, dispersed. They are dispersing, moving to Nigeria. Yeah. So terrorists see them easily. Then you have a lot of street children.
We have a Macaulay waiting here in Lagos. Macaulay, good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, once again, the issue of terrorism and banditry is a multi-dimensional issue. First and foremost, the poverty level in Nigeria, the government has to do something about it. Secondly, the fifth columnists, they are all over the forces. Nigeria has one of the best men in the world. When they go for operation outside Nigeria, they come back with laurel, even Nigeria police. So then what is happening? When they come back home, what is happening? The government needs to put together a think tank, combining all the retired generals to come back and bring some of what is happening in Nigeria. Talking about Kaduna, to be very honest with you, sometime last year, there was one Dr. Abubakar that wrote about that road. If those 4 villages, if they did not do anything about those 4 villages, it's just a child play. They will continue to be kidnapping along that road.
All right.
All the information, all the informants, they are on that road. And again, about the Okada stuff. Okada is banned completely in Kano, and the heaven doesn't fall. So thank you, sir.
All right, many thanks. GKB, but Governor El-Rufai's outcry must be seen in a larger context of a country that's dealing with too many enemies at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so
usually Mr. Rufai is a very put-together guy.
Yeah, but
he's not afraid of taking the hard decisions.
Good, but to think that Kaduna, which remains the old headquarters of the old northern region, is the epicenter, is mind-boggling.
Yeah, but don't forget that it was also in Kaduna that the Air Force base was attacked within the heart of Kaduna. So it's not really something that happened yesterday that would now cause us to lose sight of the reality that we are in the middle of a war. But the point you made is very cogent for two reasons. People all over the country have been saying, let us create more security buffers to help so that we can free the military. We can free some aspects of the police to face external threats. Because right now, Nigerian military forces are overstretched.
Everywhere.
And then new theaters of war are opening up every day. And it got to a point that they'll be so stressed that they will snap. That's the danger we face right now. And like I was saying, nobody can take it from Mr. Rufai his courage to do the needful. And for him to cry means that he has reached the end of his teters. For him to cry out and say, this is getting out of hand. But we knew this will happen. Like Emeka said, we've known this for almost 10 years, that they will spread, and ultimately they will get down south. We know that. So in the next 2, 3, 4 years, if something is not done, we'll not be talking about ISWAP in Kaduna. We'll be talking about ISWAP in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Calabar. That's how bad this thing is coming. And
or Ansaro terrorists.
Because the way it's coming is the way it's showing. Right now, because if you cannot deal with them in the savannah, how are you going to deal with them in the forest?
Yes.
No, look at the level of things that we are looking at. If the savannah cannot provide you, which is open space, and you cannot do anything, imagine what will happen in the thick forest.
And you know, you wonder, it begs the question of why aren't we going into gadgetry?
The military have their ways. But like you said, they are limited in what they can use certain gadgets for. This is a failure of intelligence. This is the failure of governance over many years. Because if they are using the locals, that means they are the nearest governments that the locals can see. And they have no choice. Yorubas will say, if you are praying that your enemy, you should not eat the food of your enemy. But your friend refuses to go to the kitchen. What are you going to do?
Okay.
You pray that you don't want to eat his food. But the only food available for the locals and the one from the bandits.
That's it. We'll come to that shortly. But let me greet. Herbert is in Ilorin. Herbert, good evening. Welcome.
It's gone.
We seem to have lost the contact.
So that's the reality we face.
Yeah. And you know, this is when intelligence is important. But the people, Nigerians have been traumatized to a point where they won't necessarily volunteer information.
Precisely, because you don't know in whose hand the thing will fall. Don't forget that there was a point in time that when they were caught, the guns with them was supposedly from members of the military. Supposedly. So you know automatically that is beyond, it's now a criminal enterprise. And you know what criminality means when it comes to an enterprise. They don't pay taxes, it's free money, and they will now help them launder it. This is the same country that people were arrested in Dubai for laundering money. And the matter went away just like that.
For funding Boko Haram.
Because anybody who knows about public perception and public control will tell you that should be the front burner until they get orders. But in 2 weeks, the thing was gone. We are back to inanities about which part of the country rules for donkey as which one should rule. Where people are dying every day, we don't really care.
Emeka, it's no laughing matter, you know. We have a problem which we think we can contain, and yet we are still a long, long way from home.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
we keep turning the thing over in our mind.
Yes, we need to. The strategies need to change. It's unfortunate that for so long, since 2009, how many governments have been contending with just one terrorist group, Boko Haram. Now it has produced ISWAP and then other variants around the country, just practicing insurgency, just threatening the corporate existence of the nation. So the strategies have to change.
I'm sorry. I hope it is not out of place to draw a parallel between what we're discussing and what is happening in Lagos. You know?
I wanted to go there. You see, actually, the control of all these Okadas should be the job of the local government, because the local governments, actually the municipal governments.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing is that politicians killed the local governments, killed and buried local governments. And so the state governments have taken over the functions of local government. That is why you see these things keep recurring.
Sorry. There's a Tony waiting to speak with us from London. Tony, good evening to you.
Yeah, evening. Hello?
Welcome.
Yes, can you hear me?
Go on.
Yeah, my point is I hardly get you. This is my first time getting.
Go on, let's take advantage. Go on, you are here now.
Your numbers keep changing. Why?
No. The numbers will be on the screen. So take advantage. You are on air now. Let's go.
Yeah, can I be getting you with this number?
Yes, Tony, you are on, and you will always be on this number. Are you done? Thank you.
So
yeah.
When students are on the street protesting ASU strike, you send soldiers after them. You have different municipal disturbances, you send soldiers. You have serious threats, external threats, you send soldiers. Peacekeeping, you send the same soldiers. So what exactly is the job of the Nigerian police? The civil defense, what are they really doing? What are they really doing? You see policemen mounting roadblocks, checkpoints, doing nothing. Let's send these people to the theater of war, because they are trained.
Ideally, the internal security of the country will be the business of the police.
The police, yes, but the other side is that the police too, a lot of their functions have been taken over. That's why the job of the police, you have EFCC, ICPC, and all kinds of agencies have taken over.
Seriously diluted.
So, what do you have remaining of the police?
You know, Okada, when we were growing up, we had what they call the anti-riot policemen.
They were highly respected.
Was basically to stop riots.
Yes.
They are equipped with tear gas,
and
batons, baskets, banners,
and all of that. Yeah. But these days, you don't see those things.
Don't also forget that in 1983, under Sunday Adeus, there was an attempt to weaponize the police in such a manner that they can withstand even external security.
Yeah.
It was
MD Yusuf suggested it to go on, and they said that the police will get so powerful.
No, they even did it till the later days of Shagari.
The police did have the APCs.
It was the military that came in 1984. I've forgotten the name of the head of state then. They decided to decimate
late December 1983 and so on. Well,
the police officers are, like you said, some of the best in the world. They have awards to show for it.
Yeah. GKB, that's for another day. Our time is tight. Again, we share your disappointment, Governor El-Rufai, and we wish you Godspeed.
Yeah, let him do the needful.
Let's do
what you have to do,
and leave the rest to God.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. All right. This is where we apply the brakes, but not to forget to remind you, if you miss this program at any point, join us at 11 later on for a late edition, and we are here on Sunday for a 2-hour stretch, bumper, edition. Okay, we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC Nigeria, News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. On behalf of Emeka Madunagu and GKB, I greet you.
Thank you, Citizen.
Bye-bye now.